Good morning to Bangkok. We are very happy to see so many people here at this 5th IHSIG symposium on poultry intestinal health. We are with quite a lot of people. We have about 550 to 600 seats here, and as you can see, will be with almost 500 people here, which is quite a lot. So I basically will give you a short opening, just explaining a bit what IHSIG is and why we have organized this intestinal health conference in chickens. So as I just said, we are with quite a number of people, and just talking about numbers, I put some numbers here behind me on the screen, and I will not tell you what it is for the moment. I will explain these numbers in a few slides. They will come up again, just to make sure you will listen to me. If you know what it means, you will have to listen to me for 10 minutes. Okay, so just a background for people that not really know what IHSIG is. In fact, we started in 2010, just a group of people sitting together, a group of veterinarians, consultants, and also people from universities, scientists, that sat together and just had a discussion on how we could stimulate networking, how we could stimulate discussions between people from the field, practitioners, government people, scientists, veterinarians, consultants, and the industry, of course. And at that moment we decided to try at least to promote, scientific work on intestinal health in poultry to the global poultry industry, and that's why we have been starting these conferences, which we are now organizing since 2012, almost annually. Just very briefly, why do we focus on intestinal health? Of course, because it's very important, and actually I have listed 3 different reasons here. First of all, of course, because intestinal health, or everything that happens in the intestine, is really a key driver for animal health in general, but also for animal welfare, and definitely also for animal performance. And what you see here is just a statement of Hippocrates, already 400 years before Christ. He said that all disease begins in the gut, which is actually to some extent true. Also, he knew already that many diseases, and even diseases that were not intestinal of nature, at least had some, or could be influenced by, for example, food. So that's already a statement that was very prophetical, because now it seems to be true, really, that many diseases, even extraintestinal diseases, also have an intestinal component. Just to give you some examples, of course, there are quite some intestinal diseases here, some pictures of necrotic enteritis left on top, and coccidiosis, of course, intestinal diseases, but also animal welfare, wet litter, dermatitis. These are all different aspects that are related to something that starts in the intestine, okay? Diarrhea. Food safety is quite an important issue. Also here, of course, Salmonella, Campylobacter is increasing. So also these are pathogens that are intestinal pathogens, and also solutions that are targeting intestinal health are also affecting colonization with these pathogens. And also, you have some intestinal diseases. I just listed the example of lameness. These are also bacteria that translocate from the intestine to the systemic organs. Just, for me, of course, as a scientist, it's a very interesting, very fascinating research topic. What you see here is just a nice graph I used just to illustrate you that the intestinal ecosystem is something very special. You have quite a lot of cells there in the gut. You have a lot of immune cells, a lot of epithelial cells, and there's a huge interaction between all the bacteria sitting in the gut and the cells of the host. So it's a very fascinating research topic, because these bacteria produce a lot of different metabolites. Host cells are sensing the metabolites by these bacteria. So it's very complex, but it's very interesting to study. And as you can see here, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So this is clearly the colon. So, okay, just some questions I have put up on the slide here, just to give you some questions that maybe will have an answer at the end of this conference, but likely it will not be, because it's, as I said, it's very complex. We even don't know what beneficial microbes are. We know some of it, but definitely not all of it. We even don't know what is a beneficial host response. What should an animal do in the gut? How should it react to the bacteria to make sure it's good for animal performance and for animal health? There are quite a lot of sub-questions that I just listed here. Just an illustration of complex questions we need an answer to, and that's why, of course, we need a lot of research that is still going on, both in the industry and both at universities. Just the first number here, this is the number of bacteria per gram of intestinal contents, okay? Just to give you an illustration of how much bacteria are present in the gut. And that means that, well, we're only able to culture some of them, really a minority, and we don't know what all the other bacteria are doing. So just to give you an idea on the complexity of the intestinal microbial composition, it's really amazing that you have so many different bacteria for 1 gram of intestinal contents, and we don't know even what 90% of these bacteria are doing. So it's quite fascinating to me. What you see here on the screen is the number of scientific papers on chicken intestinal health published in international journals. And you see there's quite a steep increase the last decade, meaning that, well, the topic of intestinal health in chickens is really an emerging topic. Many people started working on that, many universities, and while this has been starting with groups in Europe, United States, you also now have a lot of research in Asia, South America, everywhere in the world, and a lot of new papers coming up. So, and this is also, well, reflected a bit when we have quite a lot of new technologies that we can use to study what is going on in the intestinal ecosystem. And these technologies, there are various ones, of course. There's the genomics, there's the proteomics, the metabolomics. And even then, when you have this wealth of data coming in, for example, lists of all metabolites produced in the gut, lists of all proteins produced by gut bacteria, still studying what all these metabolites or proteins are doing is still, well, something very complex and still something that scientists are struggling with. So again, just showing how complex this topic of intestinal health really is. This number here you see on the left, well, I can't even read it. I don't know how to pronounce that at least. But this is the number of base pairs that people can sequence now in 1 day. The number of base pairs, DNA, that people can sequence in 1 day. When I started as a scientist in '99, this was about 100,000 in 1 day. Now there's a huge number, which I can't even pronounce. And this one here, this is the number of dollars to sequence 1 million base pairs. When I started 20 years ago, this was $100,000, just to show you that all these technologies became much cheaper and we get a lot of data from all these new emerging technologies. But the key question is, of course, how to interpret all these data. And we will hear some speakers today that will give a little bit more information on how to do this. The third reason, of course, is that, well, the intestinal health topic is also a key driver for innovation, because we, of course, many people of you are developing nutritional strategies, feed additives to really solve problems in the intestine of animals, not only of poultry, but probably also of other animal species. And again, this is a statement of Hippocrates that said that, well, let food be the medicine. So already he knew more than 2,000 years ago that, well, by eating certain foodstuff, that you can at least affect health in general, human health in that case. So again, well, we have many companies here present that are, of course, developing feed additives, maybe also developing diagnostics for gut health, which is also a main new research topic, I think, how to develop criteria for gut health. These are all things we will speak about today in this conference. So just give you a little bit of thank to all the sponsors, because also they are, of course, driving innovation. This is just a list of all the platinum, diamond, and gold sponsors, and also the silver and bronze sponsors. I will mention them again at the end of the conference, but I already wanted to put these slides up to thank these people, because they are also, of course, driving the innovation, doing a lot of research on developing new solutions for intestinal health. Just some small practical details. This is, well, probably you will not know what actually is meant by this slide. This location here is the Royal Bangkok Sports Club. This is a picture of 1911. And, well, as you know, I'm from Belgium. Also, Martin is from Belgium. People that organized this conference. Also, this guy here is a Belgian guy. This is Charles van den Born, and in fact, this, well, airplane here, it's called Wanda. And in 1911, this guy was the first that actually carried out a flight in Thailand. And he departed, and he landed here behind at this grass field. So this was the first airport in Thailand, and this Belgian guy was the first one that actually carried out a flight. He just landed here at the grass. So, okay. Just some historical background. You know that now it's completely different. This is a very exclusive sport club now. It's a polo club with a swimming pool, a golf court, horse racing, etc. So it's completely different. Just a little bit of history. This is an important slide, I think. We had 5 conferences in total for the moment. Well, this is not a conference. This was just a bunch of people sitting together around a table. This is the start of IHSIG. But actually, this is the number of attendants. And as you can see, there's also quite an exponential increase in the number of attendants during the last 5 conferences. And it's really quite remarkable, because at the moment we organized the conference last year in Sao Paulo. Well, I really believe to reach the top. 340 people, I thought, well, also for my nerves, that was quite enough. But now today, we have 473 people that have inscribed and are attending the conference, so it's really great. Also, the location is, of course, important, because here a lot of people are also quite interested in this topic. We don't know what it will be next time. Maybe we go up again, we'll see. It will depend on many different things. So, but this is great. We have about 35 different nationalities here today. A lot of people from the whole southern eastern region, going from New Zealand, Australia, over all the southern Asian countries, Japan, China, and of course all this region. We have people from almost all European countries, also United States, and some people from the African countries and Middle and South America. So it's really very international with 35 different nationalities. Okay. You have the program in your booklet. We have 9 invited speakers. We got a lot of submissions. We have chosen 26 short communications. And as you have seen, tomorrow we have a roundtable discussion that will be based on the input we get from the audience. I will give you an explanation in a few minutes. We have created an app that you can download through the Wi-Fi network here, and in which you can just put questions. I will just explain that in a few minutes. But very important, of course, is the last point here. We are, of course, also here to network, to just discuss things and to just exchange ideas. That's the most important thing, I think, most important reason why we organize this kind of conferences. Some housekeeping rules. Please turn off your cell phone. Actually, I didn't do it myself. I have to do that in a minute. Also be aware that this is a club with private characters, so the conference zones or the ground floor, it's called first floor here, this zone, also the lobby, and at the second floor there's a poster session. So you're also allowed to take the elevator to the second floor, and in fact the second floor is very nice. You have a view all over the outside area there, so it's a really nice place. I guess, yeah, you will see. During the coffee breaks, here, in this room, here the ground floor and also the second floor, which is, it's not the second floor, it's the third floor in the elevator, okay? For me, it's second floor, but it's the third floor if you push in the elevator. You can find Wi-Fi here. Everybody should be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. It's, I think if you go to the networks, to the Wi-Fi networks, it's called RBSC free network or something like that. And you just have to log in with your ID card number and your email address. And then if you just log in, you get connected. There was an app created, thanks to Pierre-André, and this is, you can, if you go to, well, you can download the app if you just go to Play Store or to App Store, and the name of the app is just IHSIG in capitals, okay? You will see if you download it, you will get this, this screen here, on which you can click on the program, the speakers, but also there's one link that says vote, and there you can just put questions. You just click a presentation and you can add questions there. And I will have all the questions here on my on the laptop, on the smartphone, and I will be able to pick some questions maybe for the discussions after the talks, or maybe for the discussions during the round table discussions. This is the final number. And this number is, well, I will not tell you what it is. I will tell you tomorrow, okay? Just to be able to make sure that you stay here if you want to know what actually that number means, okay? So, have a great conference. Thank you for being here. It's a huge audience. We are very happy with that, and especially enjoy the great scientific discussions we will have here at this conference. So, thank you.